Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. I'm joined by my friend Bill Humbert. It's been a couple weeks. How are you, Bill?
Chelsea, it's been great, and it's great to be back.
Very good. Well, we're excited to have you here this morning. This is a subject that I personally need to know a little bit more about, and I hope it's helpful to you guys as well. We're going to talk about LinkedIn this morning. And first off, if you're unfamiliar with some of Bill's work, if you're tuning into the show for the first time, he is the author of Recruiter Guy's Guide to Finding a Job. He is a recruiter consultant and award-winning author. I've seen his little posters up there in the Barnes & Noble bookstore window for signings, so we're so pleased to have you here to share with us something that we, I think, need to be more hooked into, especially in our digital age. It's something that we never would have done even 5 years ago, I think, in terms of LinkedIn.
You're right. You know, and LinkedIn itself has evolved over those years and become a much stronger tool.
That's right.
And so, you know, there's a lot of different avenues of social media out there.
And first off, speaking of, let's talk about the differences between Facebook and LinkedIn. I am on both, and sometimes the differences between the two, or they rather kind of overlap a little bit, and I'm not really sure where the line is in terms of, you know, should I have certain friends on this one but only business contacts on the other? Kind of explain the difference between the two, and I guess the overarching purpose for both of those.
Okay, for individuals, there's two Facebooks out there, really. You know, it's all under one Facebook, but there's the commercial Facebook, and then there's the personal Facebook. And so you and I are used to working through the personal Facebook, and so we'll put up things about our lives on Facebook and with our friends. I really strongly suggest you keep your personal Facebook separated from your business world, because, you know, I've seen so many times, I've seen these kids and they don't understand that's out there forever, you know, swilling down beer or whatever on their Facebook pages. Well, 10 years from now, that might come back and haunt them. So so keep your Facebook security different than your LinkedIn security. LinkedIn, you want people to be able to find you and contact you. Facebook, probably not so much. The business side of Facebook is where companies will advertise their services and their goods and things like that. And that they've found is very effective for people to see what they're offering and then click on them and be able to get there.
Let's discuss thought leadership and how that relates to our usage of LinkedIn. But first off, what is the definition of thought leadership, and, well, what does it mean? Okay,
thought leadership is you know, within a profession. So I'm a professional recruiter, and so within my profession, I'll write articles that demonstrate that are informative for people and companies, and demonstrate that I have the knowledge to work with them. Companies will write white papers, and that's a form of thought leadership. So thought leadership is getting out there and letting people know what possibly is new within an industry, also the fundamentals of the industry that maybe people aren't paying attention to.
Excellent. And I think we're going to go over to the green screen right now and talk about really how to take advantage of this, because this is something, like I said, I need to do more of, and hopefully you guys can kind of get a couple points from this. So Director Ryan, let's pop up on screen right now. We're going to, the LinkedIn profile, we're going to show our viewers how to place links to their thought leadership on the profile. So this is Bill's profile right now, looking good, Bill.
So there I am, Bill Humbert, and that's my LinkedIn profile. And when you page down, Ryan, please, you'll see an area that's called publications within LinkedIn. This is all my experience through here, and when you get down to publications,
Bill's got a lot of experience. It takes a minute or two.
Been doing this for a long time. And so there's my book. And you know, as you page down, you'll see both articles and then also some of my shows here from Mountain Morning Show, where we discuss different items on revolving around recruiting and also the job search. And this is, there you go, he's clicking on. I know her.
Hey.
And so, so you can put your videos on. Now, one of the cautions I would have for videos is for some reason YouTube and LinkedIn don't always play well together. So go to bitly.com or tinyurl.com and get a smaller URL and then plug it into that space. Now, if we can go to the form, Ryan, where we show how easy it is. I know that guy. He's the man behind the curtain. The Wizard of Oz.
That's what he looks like.
That's the way.
We never see Ryan, only
Okay,
them.
so it's very easy to fill out one of these forms. The first is the title of your thought leadership. And then after the title, then is the URL. Is that right? I can't read it. And so, before you start to fill out the form, go to the website where the URL is, where it's been published, or your YouTube video, and then the date that it was published. Boy, look at this. Ryan's a pro at this. Then you talk about who the... what am I looking at? Oh, that publication. I didn't get that. So, Park City TV in this case, the authors. When I'm being interviewed by Chelsea, I'll put Chelsea and myself as the author. And then down below, you want to put way down here, is the description of what it was that you discussed either in your article or on your television interview. So it's very easy to fill out this form. And then when you hit save, it goes into your profile. This is a great way to become known as a thought leader within your industry. And as a company, it's also a great way to become known among candidates as a thought leader, and also be able to attract their attention and see the things that you want them to see.
So after that, you can just keep on adding these, quote, publications to your lineup. Is there what would you recommend for the amount that you should actually add to this? Because, your profile can get pretty long. Should you do 3, 5, or just your top 5? What would you recommend?
I'd recommend starting with maybe top 5, top 10.
Okay.
And then, then you can grow it, and you can easily delete and add. So if you've got some old thought leadership that you don't want up there anymore, you can delete that and add the new.
And it's really, really easy. I mean, Bill kind of showed this to me last week, and I went home right then and I added a couple of things, and I thought, wow, this is great, because people can see the work that you've been doing, whereas instead of referring someone to a website of your work or something, you have it right there all on your LinkedIn profile.
Exactly.
So it's really great. So next thing up, and I think you kind of started going into this, but let's discuss some of the benefits to businesses when leaders place their thought leadership in there. How does that directly benefit them?
Well, it benefits them because they're able at that point to demonstrate that they have the knowledge to do things. For instance, a management consulting firm. My last management consulting firm client was Mainstream Management, and so it's important for them to be able to show that their consultants are knowledgeable about the topics that they're coming in to consult about. And so if they can get their thought leadership of their consultants out there in the industry, they'll be able to attract more business.
So as a potential candidate, this is awesome, because like you just said, you're scrolling through these different people that you think may fit for a job, or maybe it's not even a recruiter, or maybe it's an employer, and they see you and they're like, oh, and they can just click on to some of your publications right there.
Absolutely. Chelsea, that's perfect. Yeah, the thing is, the more you are out there in a positive way, the more likely a recruiter is going to find you if you're in a job search.
Excellent. So I think that's about it to wrap it up. I would actually love to do some more LinkedIn segments with you. This was really informational for me. I hope it was helpful to you guys. Anything else to add in terms of thought leadership and the publications section of LinkedIn before we wrap things up?
No, just make sure that everything is very positive. Because once it gets out there, a lot of people aren't aware that it gets archived.
Yes.
And, anything that you do is out there on the internet probably just about forever. So make it positive, and most thought leadership will be.
Excellent. Very good. All right. Well, I'm excited to have you on next month, and depending on the topics we discuss, then either way, we will discuss more about LinkedIn, because it certainly seems like one of those social platforms that can really assist you in so many ways in making connections that you never thought possible. Oh, and I was going to ask you one thing. Could you share quickly an experience and how LinkedIn assisted you? I guess just give our viewers an example of really how productive it is and how helpful it can be if done right.
Sure. Well, I'll talk about it from a recruiter perspective. About a year ago, I had a client who needed agile software developers in New York City. And in about 10 hours, I sourced 80 people who had agile software development experience in the New York City area. Got their names, the companies, their contact information, and was able to ship it off to my client.
Wow.
So it's a tool that's just amazingly powerful.
Excellent. Very cool. I'm excited to hear more about it. Bill, thank you so much as usual. Remind us where we can go to find out more information about what you're doing and how we can get your help.
RecruiterGuy.com. Very simple.
Very good. And make sure you pick up his book as well. Remind us where we can get this at.
Locally, you can get it at Dolly's, and you can find it on Amazon.
All right. Very good, Bill. Thank you so much as usual. We really appreciate having you here. So we look forward to next month. We'll be right back after this quick break. We are talking with Larry Coley with Jans.